It's the run to the line. Workman's off the track. He's got all 4 Michelin's over the white line. He's defending.
Welcome to Off the Racing Line. I am Carlos Espitia, joined today by my co-host, Mike Moore. And today with us, we have a true motorsports powerhouse. He co-purchased FARA, Formula and Automobile Racing Association, in 2023, transforming it into a top-tier racing organization. He has over 30 years of experience as a racing driver, team owner, and professional coach. He secured the 2021 International Porsche GT3 Cup Championship. He has racing victories in IMSA, Trans Am, World Challenge, and more across the U.S., Canada, Peru, Panama, and Puerto Rico. He is the co-owner and the T in TLM Racing. Ladies and gentlemen, David Tuaty.
After an introduction like that, I don't know how to follow. That's pretty good.
I do my best.
I'm gonna take you everywhere with me.
David, welcome to the show, man. It's great having you here.
Thank you. Great being here, doing this podcast with you guys. Super excited.
David, let's start with your journey into racing. Racing wasn't always your full-time gig. What were you doing before motorsports took over, and was it a calculated risk or more of a necessity?
No. You know, like anybody that goes to school, goes to college, and realizes, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'd made a very smart decision. And, oh my God, I haven't told this story in a long time. I got a degree in psychology in the University of South Florida in Tampa.
I don't think I knew that.
Right,
Do you know why I got that? I decided to declare that major.
Because it was easy.
Nope. I get to my apartment one day, and there is this brand new. This is 1992. There is this brand new Acura NSX parked outside. I lost my mind. It was the most beautiful car I ever seen. I walk inside, and it is the president of our fraternity, the national chapter. He knew that I liked race cars. He threw me the keys and says, "Here, take it for a spin."
No way.
Brand new. It had paper tags. Red, tan leather interior. I took it around the block. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know what to do with myself. I go back inside and I ask him, "What do you do?" Because I wanted to do whatever he did so I can buy myself an Acura NSX. And he told me, "I'm a psychologist." Like, that's it. Right. I left the house. I went straight to my counselor and I declared my major.
That was the
And she asked me why. I go, because the guy owns an Acura NSX. And that was it. That was the deciding factor. Fast forward 2 years later, and I realized I needed to go get my master's, go get my PhD, spend another, ungodly amounts of money in a degree. And I said, no, this is not for me. So I went back home. My dad was already doing some commercial real estate. So I decided to get my mortgage broker license. And really it was just, I needed to make money to go racing. I did real estate financing for about 14 years. And I loved putting deals together, which has never changed because I love putting deals together with race cars, buying race cars, selling race cars, putting guys and girls in the seats. But my passion was just racing. So real estate was just a means to be able to go racing. In 2008, when the market took a humongous dump, I was left with a whole bunch of properties that we had to liquidate and no job. And savings, dwindling quickly. And I went to the L in TLM, David Leda, and I said, man, I got to do something. I have an E36 BMW, 4-door, with half a cage. I need to rent it. I need to start coaching out of it. I need to do something. And he did. He literally cleaned a portion of his desk and said, here, start Tuaty Racing, which I did. With his help, we built a car, and I started renting it to my old IMSA buddies for a quarter of the price. So all my IMSA buddies are like, oh my God, yes, absolutely. There were, accustomed to paying some really large amounts of money to go racing. So when I called them for a little fraction of the money, they said, yeah, we'll go race with you. And that's what started the business. So Tuaty Racing only lasted about a month, and it quickly got renamed Tuaty Motorsports, which nobody could pronounce, much less write. So it became TLM. And it's been TLM ever since.
2008, that was right around the time where you and I met. And I remember taking my then E46 M3 to your shop, to Lada's shop, and it was kind of scary. It was like in a not such a good part of town.
Or your car
the
was
neighborhood,
scary?
the neighborhood was very scary. So to look at your where you've gone since 2008, renting the E46 to now renting Cup cars, and has 2 warehouses full of Porsches. It's pretty amazing.
Well, thank you. It took a long time to get there, and we have some amazing customers. And we love racing. It's so easy to sell something you love.
And I think that shows. To your point, I think people gravitate to that.
I enjoy what we do, and we have gotten to the point that we pretty much pick our customers, and we want to be with people that want to be with us. It's not a forced relationship. All of our customers are our friends. We hang out, we go to dinner, we do stuff together. We're looking forward to the next event. I mean, I call it work because it is work, but I haven't worked since 2008.
Nice. Tell me a little bit about the opportunity to buy FARA. How did that come about? And just walk me through that process.
That was all Jose de las Casas' fault. Oh, yeah. He roped me into it. I didn't come in kicking and screaming. I wanted to do it. But because Jose and we made a deal, I go, listen, you're going to be the one carrying the big load, on the weekends and stuff like that. And we decided to take it to the next level. We knew what we wanted to, and I'm very thankful to FARA, because in 2008, when David and I started TLM, we took our program to FARA, and because of the amount of track time and the atmosphere that it has, then it was easy to sell the product. So because of FARA is why I have TLM today. So when Jose came to me with the opportunity to buy it, we jumped at it, and it's been work because you have to put the events together, and as you know, it takes a big commitment of time and money and more than anything, brain power, to make sure that everybody's happy, that you have the right people in place. And I think my lucky stars, you two are here, because without you guys, we would not have the SLS program or the academy. And we've been able to put good people together, which is no different than TLM. You want to be with the people that you're with. Doing this podcast was the highlight of my week.
Sorry to hear that.
One of the things I've definitely learned in this whole, trajectory of us running the academy is that it absolutely takes a village. Like, to run an event, you have to have the right people. Let's jump into something a little more personal.
Uh-oh.
When I first... I'm just reading the question. I'm already laughing. When I first met you 15 years ago, you were more of a scrawny, nerdy guy. No offense. Fast forward to today, and you've pretty much transformed into a powerhouse at the gym.
I'm a hunk of burning love, baby.
With arms the size of my legs. Tell me, what sparked this shift in focus towards your physique and overall health, especially as you approach 50 years old?
Well, thank you for that. I'm 53, actually. I'll be 54 in December, so I appreciate that. And I had a wake-up call when one of my customers' kids, Stephen Hammond, started beating me. And it is the first time...
On the track?
On the track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Physically?
No. Nobody's bullying me.
That would also be motivation to go to the gym, right?
But it was basically 30 years since a customer was able to beat me on a regular basis. Every trick in the book I had when we first ran the 2021, when I won the IGT season, is when he started doing it. And he was doing well, but he was coming in second a lot. 2022 and 23, all of a sudden, I think out of 9 races, he won like 7. So I went to the gym. I got a trainer, and I said, listen, I got this 22-year-old kid that's kicking my butt. This can't happen. And I felt a little stiff and tired coming out of the race car. I'm like, you know what? I got to do something. I've always been thin, but I got to do something. So he put me on a regimen. I eat, oh my God, you have the ungodly amounts of food, and I don't gain any weight, which obviously some people hate me for it, but it is what it is. I eat so much just to try and put muscle on, but I feel better than I've ever felt before. I think I look better than I ever did in my 20s. I have energy. So yeah, going to the gym has been a blessing.
So that brings me up to my next question. Mm-hmm. You're already in the spotlight quite a bit. So how does your new physique come with its own set of challenges? More specifically, does it bring any unexpected attention from the ladies? And how does Marlo, your wife, feel about all this?
No, she loves it. We've been married for 30 years. She knows I'm a fool. I'm always dancing. I'm always, I don't know. I don't try to be. I just like having fun, and people do gravitate to that. But she's very much like that too. She used to come to the track all the time. She used to be our hospitality person, but she has her own career. No, you know what's funny? Yes, I do see some ladies, giving me the eye, but mostly is guys that tell me, "Hey, Dave, you look good."
Come on.
I swear to God.
I mean, he does look good. Yeah.
Can't deny
It's hard
that.
to argue with it.
Yes.
So no, it's never been an issue. We've 29 years in January is going to be, yes, and together like 31. So no, that's never been an issue. And you know what's funny? We do get, the Racing Tailor, one of our sponsors. He makes me a custom suit every year, and because of that, we have the measurements.
Oh boy!
And all the suits that we've had from years past don't fit me anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
The arms are getting bigger.
yeah.
So I've always thought that in racing, the car is the great equalizer, meaning it doesn't matter how old you are, how tall you are, short, fat, you can still be a great driver. But as you climb to higher levels of competition, especially as you get older, physical fitness must play a huge role. The heat alone, especially here in Florida, can make most people just tap out. So what would you tell someone who's looking to get started in club racing, maybe a bit later in their life? How important would you say exercise and eating healthy, is to being maybe at the top level of this sport?
No, you have to have it. You have to have control. I mean, you cannot go out there, and I'm guilty of it. When we were in our 20s, we would go out drinking way more than we should and show up at the track at 7 a.m., no problem. Well, in my 40s, 50s, I cannot do that anymore.
Well, listen, just to interrupt you real quick, when you said that in my 20s, I was carrying an M16. We used to do the same thing. We'd go out drinking and show up to PT at 5 in the morning, and everybody smelled like a brewery, and we'd run 5 miles, no problem,
Right.
In the Marine Corps. If I try running down the street, without drinking coffee, I'll pass out.
Right.
Hydration is very important. Try to eat the right food. Stay away from the fats and stuff like that, especially if you want to race at a higher level. And at FARA, we do full 30-minute sprints, which is more than any other sanctioning body. A full 30 minutes at all-out speed, it's tiring. Not only physical, but hugely mental.
Yeah, it'll take it out of you.
Big time. So, you got to make sure you hydrate, you eat well, try to minimize on all the junk food. Definitely go to the gym. Just healthy habits are key. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. As you get older, you need to make sure that physical aspect of the sport, you keep on top of it, because it's really easy to go down the hill and you're stuck.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I've noticed about not just FARA, but other organizations. Typically, the guys, I would say maybe 50% or more, are older. Mm-hmm. And this probably comes in line with they have the means to go racing. It's a very expensive sport. And so that's why I wanted to pose that question is, okay, anybody can come and race, but to do it at a higher, at a high level and consistency and not kill yourself, and be in bed for a whole week afterwards, you should stay in shape, or do some sort of physical fitness to get ready. That's your message.
100%. Stay active.
Yeah.
You can't expect to be sitting in a couch 24/7 and then be able to do a 30-minute sprint, in the heat of the summer in Miami.
So with all the attention that comes with racing and the lifestyle and the traveling, has it been tough to balance the spotlight in your personal life and everything that comes with that? How do you balance that? Because you do a lot of traveling.
I don't balance it. I hate exposure. That's why my car is Dayglow orange. I love it. I thrive in it. Some people get shy. I don't. I absolutely love it. I love the traveling. Again, because we go and we race with very cool people and amazing cars. I'm leaving here in 2 days to go race a new M4 at Road America. I just raced the Aston Martin at Sebring. Before that, the 992 Cup car.
It's a tough life.
I am extremely blessed, and not a day goes by that I don't pinch myself because I cannot believe what I do every day. We're at the track all the time, so we try to at home to make a vacation, nice vacations every year. We're planning to go to Spain this year, for, 10 days or so. So I got to make sure I do that with the family. And every time I'm home, I cook with my 14, 15-year-old. We cook every night. My wife doesn't cook. We cook. I love cooking.
Yeah.
To me, it's a huge distressor. I get home and we do everything from scratch, spend a couple hours in the kitchen with my 15-year-old, who's amazing, and just have fun and cook and put music on and enjoy the night, because I know that I'll be leaving on Thursday for 3-4 days.
So you gotta put the family time in.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So for someone looking to start their own racing team, what advice would you give them? What do you wish someone had told you when you first began, and what are the biggest challenges that come with owning a team, especially when you're managing the logistics and crew behind the scenes?
That is a really good question. And I think that if you put 10 people in this seat, they'll give you 10 different answers. But I can only tell you what worked for me and what I've seen that has not worked for many others. And it is to avoid the glitz as soon as you start. There are so many teams that order the brand new motorhome with the brand new trailer. They are mortgaged to the eyebrows, and then they're trying to sell seats and cars, and you just can't do that. And you know that saying, right? To make a small fortune in racing, start with a big one. Wrong. 100% wrong. If you do it right, you can make very good money in racing. And that's one of the things that I avoided from day one. And I always have the crew and the friends that tell me, you need to buy this new thing. And I'm like, no, my old one is just fine. And we use the old one for an extended period of time. And then when we have the cash in the bank, then I might buy a new one. But knock on wood, I have not financed anything.
So that was going to be my next question. And so to reiterate your point is use what you have. Try not to use credit. Use what you have in the bank. Grow that, and then move on to the nicer toys.
We all want instant gratification. And maybe in my 50s, then I would have done it a little bit different because, let's say, I don't have time to build it. But we started this in my 30s, and we had a small trailer that we outgrew, and little by little, we bought a slightly bigger trailer, a newer, dually, and started building it like that. I didn't buy 10 GT4 Caymans. I had the 836 M3, 836 325 that we built into a race car. Then I bought an E46 M3 that we built into a race car, and we had those two for a long time. Then a customer came in, and he paid to build a Honda Civic for World Challenge, which is our World Challenge car. And little by little, we build the fleet. We have 25 cars at the shop right now, out of which 7 or 8 are ours. But all the other ones are customer cars. But that did not happen overnight. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when people tell me, oh, Dave must be nice. I'm like, well, 20 years worth of work nice. Right. It didn't happen overnight. So if you're going to start a team and avoid having to be the absolute best looking one today and mortgage yourself, out of profitability.
Sure. And that makes a lot of sense. So that goes to my next question, which is, do you focus on, club racing or a particular, series? Where do you see as far as the money in endurance racing? Where would you tell them to focus their attention?
Well, as a team growing up, we always enjoyed going to endurance racing, because you're able to rent a car to multiple people, divide the cost of the race. So it's, let's say 4 people want to do a race and it costs, $1, then it's 25 cents each, instead of having to charge one person $1. And it's more affordable. People are like, oh, 25 cents, I'll do it.
I would do it for 25 cents. I had no idea it was so inexpensive.
Sign me up.
Right. And when you do the endurance racing, you're able to divide the cost of the entire weekend, because you have some fixed costs, which are, your transportation, your crew, stuff like that. So if you're able to divide all those into 4 people instead of 1, then more people can come race with you. And then those 4 people might do an endurance race with 2 different cars or 4 different cars, and you grow from there. So endurance racing has always been our forte. And FARA, because they have 4 30-minute sprints and the enduro, we were able to always rent a car to 2 guys that come and share a car. So if a car, let's say, for use real numbers, if it's 10,000 a weekend, then you come for 5,000 each, which is a lot more affordable than 10 every weekend. So that's what we did when we started the series, TLM, and why we fell in love with FARA originally was because we had the ability to use their time to sell our product.
Going beyond the driver's seat, as a team owner, what's been your biggest triumph or moment of pride? Something that stands out to you more than any other victory you've had as a driver?
Well,
a client or something.
Lately, it's been able to not be as involved during a weekend, and knowing that my team manager, Trish, has done an unbelievable job making the crew the best they could possibly be. Extremely proud of, I think for the past 2, maybe 3 years, we have had penalty-free pit stops in WRL, which they are extremely picky. I mean, you drop a fork and they'll penalize you. So penalty-free and being able to see my team run without me having to be in there has been extremely satisfying. Having people that care as much as you do in your team, it's wonderful.
So that leads us directly into my next segment, which is the FARA Academy.
All right.
Something that Mike and I are managing. I wasn't your first choice or your second choice to manage the FARA Academy when you and Jose took over FARA. That makes sense, since there were other more experienced people with higher qualifications or what have you. What did you see in me, that made you believe that I could manage and grow the academy, and why do you think that I was able to succeed where others didn't? And here's why I'm asking, not to put you on the spot.
You just need to stall a minute so you can come up with a good reason.
Yes, let me think of one.
I got like 7 right now. Okay.
The reason I'm asking is because I think this could really benefit somebody trying to make their mark into motorsports. So when you're looking for someone to lead an important program like HPDE, what qualities do you look for that go beyond just the resume? What really matters when selecting the right person for a leadership position?
I'm going to say it as a joke, but I mean it.
Okay.
One of the things that really like about you is that you're very anal
Okay.
about how to get things done. And our experience with Track Weekend, which is a website that he started, showed me that you have very strong ideas of what you want to do, what's right and what's wrong. And you are self-motivating, which is me. I can't stand having to tell somebody to pick up a piece of, debris. If you pick it up while nobody else is watching, that's the guy I want. I want somebody to do because it's the right thing to do. And because of our experience together, I knew that you were very diligent in what you wanted and how you wanted it done. And you always gave me the same sense that I just spoke to about Trish and my crew guys, Mariano and David Leda and all those guys, is that you work whatever you do as if you were the absolute owner of it. You take ownership of the decisions. You take pride in when something comes out good, and you get extremely hurt if something comes out bad. To me, that is the absolute best quality, because an owner cannot duplicate themselves. So if you find somebody that cares as much as you do, and I've told you this before, you don't work for me. We are partners.
Yeah.
The academy is yours. I want no part of it. You guys make it happen. The same way that Yakaman makes the formula happen, and Mario now is doing the drift happen. We need to put good people in place to be able to run the programs like they are their own. And the academy is yours. So when you run it, when you show me that you care as much as you do, that's all I need to know.
And I appreciate you saying that, David. And I think from a corporate standpoint, right, anybody listening, that makes a lot of sense. You want to put people in positions where they care about, the organization in general, which is really, it was such a great timing when Mike reached out to me shortly after I took over the academy. Mike reached out to me and said, "Hey, I just talked to David on the phone. He said, you're the guy to talk to." And I was just looking for a chief instructor. I said, "Mike, would you like to be the chief instructor?" He says, "Yes." And after a couple of bouts, maybe not a couple, the first one, and I saw Mike put together the PowerPoint presentation for the academy, and I was like, this is my guy. So I look at things the same way that you do. Is I can't run the academy by myself. So how do I replicate that enthusiasm and drive that I have? And I'm very thankful that we found you, Mike, in that process.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate the opportunity. And, it just adding to what you said, like you look for people that are passionate about it. We were talking a little bit off air before we started about how, you just, or at the beginning of the taping of how you don't feel like you've worked, right? I'm the same way. Like it doesn't feel like work when you're doing something that you love, right? Everybody says that.
Yeah.
You find what you love, you never work a day in your life, and it's true.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. This next segment I'm going to call What's Next.
Okay.
I've always been wired to think about what's next, right? So when I started my HPDE career, it was pretty obvious. You start as a novice, then you move up to intermediate. Now you become solo. Great. What's next, right? Then you become advanced. What's next? Always looking ahead. So the next thing for me was, becoming an instructor. So once I became an instructor, what's next? I remember listening to Ross Bentley talking about adding tools to your instructor toolbox. So when new opportunities came up, I just said yes to everything. Whether it was the instructing for the Ferrari Club of America, being a mentor for Chin's instructor school, or even participating in pilot programs like the Taste of the Track, again with Chin, I was constantly looking forward for ways to improve and add to my toolbox. So I ask you, what's next? Now that you've come this and been able to achieve so much, what's your what's next?
That's a really good question. What's next for FARA?
What's next for you?
For me, I don't know. I'm in a good place.
You're happy right now.
I am super happy, but I never stop adding things.
Well, we're growing. We're growing FARA.
FARA is growing, and we're going north, and that's what's next in the business side of it. We just expanded the TLM warehouse, so we are looking to build that and get some new mechanics, some new blood in the team. So that's expanding. On the personal side, I want to continue to have fun with the family. Make sure, that I got 2 kids, one already, 2 of them are on their own. One's in New York City, the other one's in Philadelphia. They're both working actors. I have to send very little money that way, which is very nice.
That's good.
So I, just more of the same. On the business side is where, yes, we want FARA to grow bigger and go national. You heard it here first. TLM is expanding, but I want to make sure that with TLM we only do things that are fun. Like I don't care to go back to a Pro Series anymore, unless the funding to be able to do it is right. I get the phone calls probably on a weekly basis. Hey, can we put a program together for this? And the numbers are pretty astronomical. So they either think I'm crazy or I'm trying to steal something, but it is what it is. And I won't do it for pennies on the dollar, because then everybody's going to be unhappy.
Right.
So right now the club racing program is fantastic. But we're always looking to do, better, nicer, different. We have the Porsche Cup cars, the Aston Martins. So a whole bunch of GT4s, M4, Caymans, and then our BMW M2s are our most affordable options to rent out, and keep adding to that stuff.
What's
you
a
kind of
car?
stop me on that one.
What's a car that you don't currently have on your stable that you'd say, you know what, I would like to add that one?
As a race car?
Yeah, or something to rent.
The BMW M2 has been fantastic car. I like that. I would probably want to have an M4 GT4. And really just the Cup cars are unbelievably good cars. And people always think that I'm trying to sell them a car that they don't need. But when you drive a Cup car, you realize that's the only car I need. It does everything well. So a mere mortal can drive the car at 95% and be okay. Because the car does not bite you. I mean, if you realize what too much power is, you're going to spin it. But you can spin any car if you add too much throttle. The Cup car does everything well. And it does everything well for 100 laps. The brakes feel the same way. The oil temperature, the water temperature, water pressure, oil pressure on all the Cup cars. And I've driven 25, 30 Cup cars. They're all the same. So when you see the temperature rising on one of them, you have a radiator that's clogged, something's going bad. They're unbelievable machines. So, I new Cup cars. That's probably what I wanted, more Cup cars.
Do you have a favorite generation, or they just keep getting better?
They do keep getting better. I mean, Lobster Mac was our 991.2. That was my favorite car because that car was, tuned and power package, and it was faster than the GT3 Rs. But now I raised the 992 and I'm getting to grips with it. It's a lot of fun to drive. And it's just the new generation is that much better. Because the first time I ever drove a Cup car was a 996 and a 997. And they were unbelievable machines. Then the 991 came out and you're like, wow. Now the 992, I'm like, oh my God, how much front grip can you possibly have? Right now, the limiting factor on the 992 going fast is me. Like around Road Atlanta turn 1. I know I could go quicker, but my body says, no, that's it. So I have to tell my body, no, you got more. But I'm holding on for dear life, and I know I can push it more. And you have to get out of your brain to be able to drive that fast. And when you're 20 years old and you do it at 53, you're like, I'm okay being half a second slower.
Yeah, at 20 years old, you can pretty much throw caution to the wind because you're bulletproof and.
Well, you think you are anyway.
Yes, in your mind, you nothing can hurt you. I don't know. Last show that we did, we kind of touched on why Mike became a Porsche owner, and how much Porsches are cheater cars, on the track. So I'm gonna make a new segment called "Why Do Porsches Are the Only Cars That You Need for the Track?" Right?
Exactly.
New segment.
It warmed my heart to hear that you started off in BMWs and slowly transitioned over to the better brand. So good for you. Smart, and good looking. Who knew?
Who knew? Right. I think that's the natural transition. It just
You start at the bottom and you work your way up.
Well, I wouldn't say the bottom.
Well,
when you mentioned my body, just is saying no mas. Not to compare a Miata with a Porsche, but when I was testing the new Miata that we got with Jonathan, I remember asking him, how far do you go into turn 6 at Homestead before you start braking? I'm used to braking at the 3 marker, and he says, you go 1 or past the 1. I'm like, no way. So it had been a long time since I've had that fear, like that you need to protect yourself because I don't think that you're actually know what you're doing right now. The mind talking to the rest of your body. And I see the 3 cones fly and the 2 cones. I'm like, this is absolutely insane. Like, no way this car is going to stop. And the 1 goes by and I just slam on the brake and the car, whoop, and it turns. I'm like, this is unreal. So
Miata is always the answer.
Miata, unbelievable. Yeah. Okay. Let's segue to the next topic. David, you're clearly been forward-thinking individual throughout your career. Always pushing for the next challenge and opportunity, but sometimes racing presents moments that shake you to the core and make you pause to reflect. You've had to endure deep personal losses in the sport. The incident at Daytona a few years back certainly had a profound impact on you. Can you walk me through what happened that day and how that experience affected you?
We were at Daytona for the international GT race, and our friend Mark Mathis, I think he blew a tire, lost control. The car spun and was stationary sideways on the pit exit. And
this is before turn 1.
Before turn 1, but if you know Daytona, the pit exit goes around turn 1, and he was hidden by the wall if you're looking straight, but if you're on the track you can clearly see him. Actually no, let me rephrase that. When you're on the track in the race car, you cannot see him. You're looking this way, and I didn't know he was there, but the black flag came in, yellow came in, we were not doing fast laps. I came in and parked it and waited for the yellows to go away before we go back out. During that time, our other friend Marcel Fayen lost control behind Cayman and spun right into Mark's parked car. Mark lost his life right there and then, and Marcel was very, very hurt and is still recuperating. He's doing much better, but it's a long road ahead.
So going into that turn 1, he must have been doing about how fast?
170, 175.
170. So yeah, by the time he saw him parked there, it was just...
And I doubt that Marcel even saw him. I didn't know where was the flag. I kept seeing I saw a yellow flag for 2 laps in a row, and I didn't see a car. So I came in waiting. It wasn't until I heard the boom that I knew something had happened. And of course, everything got quiet after that, and it was miserable.
So how does something like that, impact you, and how do you move past it? How do you put your helmet back on and go back racing after something like that?
It's 2 ways. I had just met Mark the year before, and we were actually trying to put a 24-hour Daytona ride together in an Aston Martin. So we were spending a lot of time on the phone trying to put the deal together. I didn't know him in a personal level. I knew him just at the track. But at the track, he was our buddy and always had a nice thing to say. He always came around and said hello, and we always used to go over there. His whole crew was family, like brother-in-law and all kinds of cousins. And so it was very much a family affair. So we felt it. And funny, I mentioned this, but I said before that our customers are our friends.
Right.
So we went with the Hammonds to their ranch, and to blow some steam, we were, shooting practice in the ranch, and we spent the night there just basically talking and shooting his arsenal of stuff, and in an actual range, safe. Next morning, we did not know what was going to happen, so we talked to the race official, and they said, "Yeah, we're going to continue." I hate to say it, it took me 2 laps to get over it.
That's quick.
Because either I park it and go home or get over it. If you don't get over it, you cannot continue on the track. And it wasn't over it as in I forgot it. My wife always tells me that I am really good at compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
And I did. I had to compartmentalize. I go, I am sad for Mark in the back of my brain, but I have a job to do. And I would be lying to tell you I didn't lift a little bit going into turn 1 every time. And it probably took me quite a few Daytona races to be able to go in as you should. But you have to. You have to. And you see that you see that in unfortunate death in Formula One, and you have to, you either get over it and go or go home. You have no choice.
The gentleman that ran into him, how do you still talk to him? How's he doing?
Yes, I saw him. He came to the last FARA race at Homestead, actually. Him and his dad are very good friends of ours. He's doing much better. Unfortunately, he had to basically go through rehab and learn to talk and walk and everything again.
He was pretty banged up.
It was very bad. But thank God he is alive, and he is doing much, 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 much better. As a matter of fact, we were talking about, when he's going to get back into the race car. So
it's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years, and he's doing much better than we all thought, because we have not seen a lot of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw him at the Miami Grand Prix when we were doing the Carrera Cup. He was there, and he waved to us. And then he came to the last FARA race, the one in March that we had in Homestead. He came, and we had a conversation. He was there, as if nothing. I mean, you could see he had limited movements on one arm. But other than that, he much better than we anticipated. So
That's good.
he's going to make a full recovery. It's just going to take time.
Yeah, and he'll be back racing with FARA soon.
Hopefully.
All right, hopefully then. All right, let's lighten up the mood. My favorite segment, which Mike completely disappointed me at the last.
Well, I'm prepared this time.
Oh, good.
Somebody reminded me of a couple of stories. So
This segment, David, is called Instructor War Stories.
Ah.
So I know that you've done your fair share of coaching. You have to have one or two that just stick out. Like this was a crazy story.
I have a few. Oh my God, I have more than a few. Now that I'm thinking, they're all going. Brrr.
I have to name names.
Yes, this is an anonymous subject.
Okay, no names. No names. The funny thing is that I've told this story before, so whoever's listening is gonna know who it is.
You want to keep your clients.
I will. I have to tell you this one. I'm coaching somebody in a cup car, his cup car. I'm coaching them at Sebring, full day, coming to the last session. So 4:30 in the afternoon, Sebring. And all of a sudden, going into Bishops, the fastest part of the track, going into Bishops, all of a sudden, he's like, is it right or left?
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, what?
This is about 130 through there.
Is it right or left? I go, stop, park it, go into pit lane right now. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? He goes, oh, no, I just got lost. I'm like, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We're going home. We're done. I could not believe. I thought he was kidding for a second.
Yeah.
He was not kidding. He got lost. I mean, everything flashed in front of my eyes. I was like, what? I mean, literally going into Bishops. Is it right or left? I'm like, stay away.
Yeah. And you need to make that decision very quickly.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
No,
if you make
yeah.
it right, nothing good is going to happen.
We
there.
went through at a much lower pace, and I said, pull it in.
Yeah.
We're done for the day. We'll regroup and do this again another time.
I mean, to his credit, I've had more than one person do that, with me after a full day of coaching. We're talking like the fourth session. This is the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like we've been doing this for 2 hours now. And they're like, yeah, wait, where do we go from here? I'm like, really? We've been doing this for 2 hours.
Exhaustion is a real thing when you're, I mean, all day. It's harder than it looks, for sure.
It is.
And
Yeah,
so,
it is.
you know, you lose that little bit of an edge. It requires 100% concentration. So if you get to that point at the end of the day, you're tired, you're thirsty, you're just mentally, physically exhausted, does not surprise me.
Yep. I had a guy, a student one time, we were approaching turn 16 at Sebring. And you know how we sometimes coach, you kind of go a little bit left to make a big arc and make that right? And so I said, okay, you go left, meaning I thought he was going to understand. Go
Right.
left, meaning
Right.
go take a big arc and then, go right. So I said, make a left. And he took a left. Now we're heading off the track. Stop. What are we doing?
Right. Yeah.
You said go left.
Right. Well, just
Yeah.
doing what my instructor told me to do.
Yeah, so I learned to
Whose fault is that?
modify
Right.
my instructions after that one. But you said another one came to mind.
Yes. So, and again, I don't know that it counts quite as a war story. I was never in danger. It actually happened before we even started the car. I want to say we certainly still sitting in the paddock. So, and this story should resonate with. Hopefully, it'll be helpful to some of our beginners before they come out about how you mentally prepare yourself, right? But also how you prepare the car. So, hop in the right seat. We encourage people not to have anything loose in the car. You don't want phones flying around and that kind of stuff. And this particular driver still had the USB plugged in for his phone cord. In the center console. So I thought, look, it's a manual transmission car. Like, we don't need that thing flying around while we're trying to shift. So I said, hey, you mind? I'm just going to grab this out and throw it in the glove compartment. So, younger kids said, sure, no problem. So I unplugged the thing. I reached the glove compartment. I opened the glove compartment, and there's a loaded gun in the glove compartment.
Just in case.
Thought to myself, I really don't think we're going to need this out on the track, right? It was astonishing to me that somebody would do something like that. So we took the gun out, obviously, put it in my car.
Was he apologetic or what happened?
He seemed to be relatively nonchalant about it. And the conversations that I had with this guy in advance, he was one of those guys. We talked about my war story last week or last episode was that how I've been very fortunate and that the majority of my war stories have been that the people were too timid. And this guy was. I was a little bit worried going in with some of the things that he was saying, how he was talking, that kind of stuff. After we got the gun out of the car and threw it in my car and locked it, he very quickly, 2-3 laps in, realized that this was going to be harder than he thought. So fortunately, he settled down. The rest of the time, we had a great day.
Right on. All right, we're going to do a quick listener Q&A. I told several people that Tuaty, you were going to be our guest.
All right.
And so right off the bat, I had several people ask me to ask you a few questions.
This is going to be great.
We have a few minutes left. So,
Oh boy.
first question, and I am not lying. This is the first question that I received. Ask him, why are you so crazy? Now, let me follow up with...
Was this your daughter?
No, it was not my daughter. It was another driver.
Oh, God.
And I said, well, what do you mean? Like on the track or in life? He goes, both.
Yes. Right.
I don't know if I'm crazy. I enjoy life. I wake up every morning and it's gonna be the best day ever. And people think that it's like a facade. No. This is the best podcast I've ever done in my life. Tomorrow it's gonna be the best day ever. And I truly believe that. I'm sorry if it sounds pompous or I don't know what, but I don't care, first of all. I love it. I love what I do. When I enjoy the drive home, just everything. Like when
You're
I
high
have
on life.
I do. This was the best coffee I've ever had, by the way. Great coffee. Everything. So I don't know if I'm crazy. I don't know. I want to enjoy everything I do. So yes, I might walk into a room and what's up, people? But I don't do it for attention. I do it because it comes out.
Yeah.
Like I want other people to enjoy. And I learned that in college. I was actually very timid, not self-assured at all in college. And this is a seriously, stupid personal. I had a big breakup with my high school sweetheart and it messed me up. For like 6 months, I was like, a turtle. I was like just hiding in my own shell until I realized I just want to have fun. And the second I started having fun for me, then friends and girls and everything started to happen. I totally believe in good energy. So if you walk into a room with a sad face and, oh, this is horrible, I just woke up and it was too early, and you're grumpy, you get grumpy back. So I refuse to live like that. I want to project I am having the best time ever, and little do you know, the best time comes back.
It's a great way to attract clients.
Yes. People have told me.
Yeah.
Customers have come to me. Brady Berman, and Scott Blind, really fantastic guys that have become really good friends. They both came to me for the first time ever. We're at Homestead in one of the BMW M2s, and Brady starts doing a video, and he puts the camera on me, and I go, "Hey." And he stops it. He goes, "David, really?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I came all the way over here. Why did I come?" And I go, "Oh, you want What's Up People, right?" He goes, "Of course." He wanted to do a video. And a whole bunch, because we were racing a whole bunch of different series. And I always do the grid walk and really just for my own self. Somebody told me the other day, "You post a lot of pictures of yourself." I'm like, "Yeah.
Have you
I
seen
love
me?
myself.
Right.
I love myself."
Look at this face. Why would I not do that?
But nobody else loves me as much as I love myself.
True.
But so I do the videos really because I want to do the videos. And people come and mention a comment. Like if I take the camera out now at any grid walk anywhere, you're going to hear people scream different things.
Yeah.
And somebody came to me, Sarah Montgomery at Coda came to me and says, "Oh my God, I'm in a What's Up video." And she was like super excited. And she's a really good friend and an awesome driver. We've had awesome battles, usually at Coda. But, people like it.
Yeah, I've seen videos of you guys at Road America, at Coda, and somebody in behind will come up and say, "What's up, people?" It's like that's your trademark.
calling card, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome. What's the wildest thing you've done at the track that you are not proud of?
Oh, I don't know if the statute of limitations is done on that one. I can't say.
See, I thought for sure we were going to hear the story of qualifying at the Grand Prix, the Miami.
Oh, well, that was just a mess up.
Right.
That was just a mess up. You want me to tell that story? I'll tell that story. That was horrible. We were at the Miami Grand Prix, Formula One. Greg Kramer is announcing for the Conquest Club. I mean, everything. I'm signing autographs like you wouldn't believe. They saw the Peruvian flag, and all the Peruvians started chanting. I have a video. All the Peruvians started chanting some Peruvian thing to me. It was like wild. So we go out and qualify, and I know I can beat those guys. I've beaten them in different series. I know I can beat those guys. And I'm in the Masters class, over 50 years old. And Trish gets off the radio and says, "Dave, you're like 0.5 behind." And I look at my B-box, and I'm like 0.7 ahead. I was like, "Oh, I got this." And I go around, I think it was like the swimming pool area thing, and I just clipped the inside wall a little bit. Just a tiny bit. But like Monaco, you've seen those when they hit a little bit and then crash on the other side? That's what I did. I just nailed it. I hit it just a little bit. On that side of the car, there was just a little scratch. Mm-hmm. The other side went straight into the wall. That was the end of my race.
You got pretty banged up, didn't you?
No banged up. That was it. I mean, the car got seriously banged up. No, they take you always. Anytime you hit a wall, they take you to the medical center, and they check me out, and that was it. But yeah, that was pretty stupid. That was pretty stupid. One of the things that I do, I don't necessarily regret. It was fun. I took the crew. We had a minivan. And I took the crew for a ride around Road Atlanta because, the crew is always in the pits. They don't go anywhere else. So I took them for a ride around Road Atlanta, showed them the backside of it. And, well, there's a skid pad back there.
Oh.
And I have probably a Dodge Caravan or something full of crew.
Uh-huh.
And bags and you who knows what else. And I start going around the skid pad. And I think we were on 3 wheels pretty much the whole time. And just so you know, there's cameras everywhere. I did not know this. So I'm getting out of this skid pad. We're all laughing, right? Oh, we get stopped. That was not good.
Yeah, they were
He
upset.
rimmed me a new butthole. It was bad.
He wasn't saying, "What's up?"
No. He was not impressed at all. I was like this short of like calling the cops, and they wanted to charge me $5,000 and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know how we talked ourselves out of it, but nothing happened. But yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
That was pretty stupid.
All right, listen, that's the end of this episode. I want to thank you.
That's it?
David. Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, we can go another hour, but unfortunately,
we'll have you back.
they're
Maybe.
gonna
All right.
they're gonna kick us out of
I
here.
will
But
be glad to be back.
thank you so much for joining us, Mike. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
I always close it with this. Always remember that what's interesting happens off the racing line. But let's finish with a what's up, people, all together. Can we?
What's up? Oh.
1, 2, 3.
What's up, people?
Every day interesting happens off the racing line. I took the hard road, I've earned these stripes. The road from dreamer to driver ain't always straight. Kept my head down, fueled by faith.